Hi, my name is David Welch. You've been watching my YouTube videos for years on how to help your classic truck get back on the road. A couple of TV shows too. Today I'm at Brothers Tech Center and we're working on a 73 to 87 square body truck door hinge. It's going to be one of the most common things that go bad on your truck, and it's going to be one of the first things you want to fix. Job takes about 2-3 hours because you have to take the front fenders off, and there's 4 hinges and sometimes they're rusty and difficult to work with. You're not going to need too many tools. You're going to need a cutting wheel and a die grinder, a couple of hammers and a punch and some miscellaneous things. Not a big deal. There's a few different ways of doing it. This is the way I like to do it, but sometimes you'll run into problems with rust or things are bent, what have you. I like to cut the center of this pin out, and the reason is, if you notice on this end right here, this is flared out, and sometimes it's difficult to cut that off or grind it down without doing damage to the hinge. On the other side, you'll notice that it has the flat head, and that obviously is not going to push through. But if I cut my center out here, I can simply push one end out, then I can simply push the other end out. So I'll cut that out now and show you what it looks like. Now, I could have cut just in the center and then pushed out, but then I'd have more rod to push through, and if it's rusty and difficult, then that's going to make my job more difficult. Another thing you want to keep in mind is do not rebuild all of your hinges at once. Don't take them all apart. Just do them one at a time. And before you take it apart, make sure that you mark what is the top and what is the bottom. So this is going to be the bottom with your flared end, and this is going to be your top because that's where the flat end, where the serrations is. I'm going to mark both of these because I don't want to put this together wrong. So you can see this one came apart really nice and easy, but let's say for instance it was rusty and it was tough. You're going to want to make a spacer, and you'll put it right in here, and this way when you put it in the press and press it down or hammer on it, it won't take these ends right here and bend them in and causing yourself extra time and trouble. I'll take that off. You can see our old bushings here are really hammered up, and that is why your door is sagging. I'm going to try to gently knock these guys out. Sometimes they're cooperative, sometimes they're not. I'm going to have to play with these just a little bit. So give me a few seconds on this and I'll be right back, okay? With my old bushings out, I can put my new ones in. Now, normally I'll clean this all up and sandblast it and such, but for the interest of time, we'll just continue. Make sure you got a nice base, and make sure that you put in the bushing like this and not upside down. You have to make sure that this edge, this cap right here, if you will, is on the top. When you do this, get a light hammer and just lightly do this. If you mack them down too much, you're going to give yourself a problem. On the bottom, obviously it's the same way. And that's about that on the base. This right here, we're going to double check top and bottom. This should fit pretty nice and firm. You shouldn't have a lot of slack in it. If you do, you might have to bend these ears or what have you. You might have done some damage when you're taking out your pin. Now I'll put a little bit of grease on this pin, and I'm going to go in from the top, and you can see it just slides right in. Now I'll get it on a base, and I'll tap it down some. Now when you get down to the serrations here that kind of lock it into your hinge, you might want to get your spacer and put it in so that you don't do any damage to the hinge. The edges here. And even though this is still pretty solid, you might want to flip it upside down and then mushroom the head right here, just as a little bit extra safety gig on there. So now we are good and we are firm and we are ready to put our truck back together. So be sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel because we've got tons of these hints for you.